For you guys, you're gonna love. This is one of my favorite Easter projects, I think, that I've done thus far, so I'm super excited about. This is just a plastic egg that I apologize up front about the lighting down here. We are actually forecasted to get tornadic type storms this evening and rain starting in here in the next hour or two. So I was going to try to film outside so the light was organically better. But I'm chicken because the sky is getting dark and I don't want to have all my supplies outside and then have to run for it. So I hope this is okay. I hope you guys can see okay, and I will try to see if I can lighten the video too when I edit. This is just a plastic Easter egg. It's kind of rubbery, hard plastic that you would get from Hobby Lobby, Michael's, probably Dollar Tree, I think. So, you know, for $2, you can't beat it. The size is what I was looking for. And we are going to turn this into something really fun. And it's gonna start with just some simple chalk paint. Now, if you don't have chalk paint, you can certainly make your own chalk paint. If you have house paint or something left over from a project and it's not chalk paint, all you have to do is add baking soda, because what you're looking for is that kind of texture to the paint that would allude to that it's old. So that's all that chalk paint is. It's no mystery. And sometimes I'll just buy a gallon of white paint at the hardware store and add, as I need it, this baking soda in for whatever project that I'm working on. This one is super fun. We're going to be using our IOD molds again. You guys know I love these, and I adore the IOD sisters. I love everything they do. They are just geniuses. The clay that I'm using today is IOD air dry clay. You don't have to buy the IOD clay to do this project. You can just use any air dry, would work great. I love this because it just seems to have a smoother texture and it rides down into the molds a little easier. Now I've got several molds that I'm going to use, and so this is going to be like a Frankenstein egg because it's going to have parts from different molds that go on. We're going to start with the chalk paint. I'm going to put a white coat of paint on it. I'll put that into time lapse so you're not bored to tears watching me paint a pink egg. Once that's dried, we will get started adorning this with some molds, and then I'm going to show you how to distress it so it looks like it's been around for a while. Sloppy coat of paint on this, and I don't know if you can see, I'm just using one of my actually artist brushes from inside, and I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm almost letting the brush stick to the surface of the paint, making this sloppy, you know, kind of texture. I guess texture would be a good way to explain that. And the reason why I didn't want to paint it smoothly is because we're going to come back and we're going to distress that. Because it's chalk paint, it's going to grab that distressing paint into all those little grooves, and then when we go back to wipe that off, it's going to be magical. You guys are going to love this, and you can use this distressing method on a million different things, and I have some fun projects coming up where we're going to transform some spaghetti jars, which I think is funny, and some other old crocks. So we're going to let this dry, and we'll be right back. The first coat on this bad boy, and we are getting ready to add some embellishments to turn this from a cheap pink egg from in this case Hobby Lobby, and in fact I found the sticker from the bottom. It was $3.99, so it was $2. It's dry, so we're gonna add our embellishments, and again we're gonna go back to our IOD molds, and in this case I'm gonna use some of these garland pieces to kind of divide the egg. Now, I'm sure you're looking at this and saying, hey woman, I still see pink on that egg. Don't worry, we're gonna put another coat over the paper clay. And then that is gonna dry, hopefully before this terrible tornado storm comes, and then I'm gonna show you how to distress it, and I think you guys are gonna love it. Okay, we're ready to turn this bad boy into a fabulous, beautiful Easter egg to display. The first coat of paint is dry, and you can see it's super sloppy, but that's okay, because so am I. We are going to add some embellishments, and we're gonna start with this garland here, and I can't remember what this mold is called, but I love it, and I've used it a ton. And again, I'm gonna start with this clay that I kind of have already open. And what I do for when I'm doing a longer piece like a garland, I have it's more luck if I can roll it into kind of a tube to kind of get it started. So in the length, so I'm just gonna wrap that around, and then I'm just gonna start pressing. And this one can be tricky because it's the parts that join it are very thin and a little bit fragile. Okay, we're gonna get it in there. It's looking good. And again, I'm using those micro edges as my friend. I'm just running my finger against it, getting off the excess clay and going that way. And I accidentally made a little bee. Maybe I'll keep him, he's cute. Okay, so I have that in there. Again, the clay that you're not using, stick in your Ziploc. And then I'm gonna coax him out, and hopefully he will not give me fits. So sometimes I'll lay it on the table like that, and I'll press against the table and then just work that mold out. Again, use cornstarch if that is sticking. And then I'm gonna turn him over, and I'm gonna apply a little glue. In this case, I'm just using an all-purpose glue. Nothing fancy. And then I'm gonna find the center of my egg. Let's maybe use this for a minute. Center of my egg. Oh, oh, oh. This is what happens sometimes, is those middle pieces get fragile. And then I'm gonna start at the bottom, and I'm gonna wrap it to the top. And you can just kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think that's what makes homemade gifts so lovely, is you can see that little imperfections. And you can see that I'm just running it up the middle. It'll mimic the eggs that almost look like they're iced, with that hard icing that used to break your teeth off when you tried to eat it, but they were super colorful. It kind of reminds me of that in a way. The embellishments. So we have the first one on. And I'm gonna do another piece here. I love these projects with the clay, the air dried clay, because really the sky's the limit. Just use your imagination. Again, I got it started in the tube. Now this one, I'm gonna use the other side. I'm gonna use the mirror image of that. And as I'm pressing it in, I'm stretching it to get all the way down to the end. And then I'm using my palm to put the weight on it. Sometimes if you press too hard, you'll press it right out of the mold. So there's kind of a fine line. Yep, that was thunder. Okay, I'm still making this Easter egg. I'm committed to you guys. I'm committed to you, says the girl that was struck by lightning. Okay, so we're gonna pop this one out. We're gonna do it just the same. I'm gonna coax it out of its little mold. I start on this end. Also, too, in the comments, don't be shy. If there's a project that you would like to see me do, that you're interested in, pop it in the comments, and I'd be happy to give it a go. I would love that. We're all in this together. Okay, so I have my other piece, and this time I can start like this. So I'm gonna go like this. Oops. I'm gonna go like this. Upside down. And here's my other piece that kind of broke away, but no worries. We're all gonna be okay. The important part about any project is that you made it with love and you had fun you know, that's what art should be. Art should be fun. If it's not fun, then we're missing the point, right? And I'm just gently pressing down. You don't want to press down too hard because you're going to lose your indentations. Isn't that pretty? So you just want to get it all in there. Okay, so now we're going to go to, let's see, what should we make our embellishment be on the outside of the egg? Maybe a pocket watch, or should we do, I'm almost thinking we need to do the bunny, but maybe we give the bunny his own pocket watch. Let's try that, see how that looks. And again, if you don't like it, you just squish it all up in a ball again, and you try again. So I think sometimes people, you know, and I am guilty of that myself, is, you know, we start a project and we want it perfect, and sometimes it doesn't come out perfect, but there's so much you can learn from failing. Those are actually wins. Failings are actually a win, because we learn from it, and then we come back and say, okay, well, that didn't work, but this does, and I love that. Okay, so we're going back in here. I'm gonna get those little bunny legs this time. It's weird because the weather has gotten very still. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera. All of a sudden, the trees have stopped moving, and you guys are probably at home going, run, Forrest, run! The tornado's coming! And I may have to if it gets bad. We'll have to see, but I think we can finish this here. I think he looks good. Make sure his little bunny tail's okay. Let's pop him out. And again, be careful of his little parts, his little leg. Those are the trickiest. Okay. There he is, about as perfect as you can get. He's so cute. Oh my goodness, little bunny. Now you can see, here's another tip too. I'm gonna show you before I clean it. Can you see on his back? Let me hold it up this way. See all this excess where I didn't clean across that micro edge, and that's why it's important to use those for your advantage. But no worries, I'm just gonna go and kind of pop those off with my finger and smooth that down. Kind of makes him look like he's got more hair. He's a hairy bunny. And we're gonna put some glue on him. I guess they're called hairs, so that's my little joke. Okay, so we're gonna put him on the front. Now, if you're using a milder glue, you'll have to go every whip stitch and make sure that that's all kind of adheses down. And I think I'm gonna put him on this front section. Now, I am not even joking. The temperature has dropped probably, it feels like 10 degrees. You almost could feel the pressure go. So, that's how much I love you guys. I'm out in a tornado crafting with you. So we're gonna press him in. Okay. Pressing him in. Oh my gosh, he looks adorable. Look at that. Now I'm almost wondering though, as I'm looking at him, if he should go a little higher, and then maybe I put the watch underneath him. Maybe that would be super pretty. Every good bunny needs a watch. So he can get to the garden early enough so the gardener does not deny him his carrots. I had bunnies last year that just eviscerated my protege. And a very naughty groundhog that I wanted to wring his neck. He ate an entire row of sweet peas down to the root system. The day before I was gonna harvest them. I just wanted to cry. Oh, it's getting chilly now. I bet we get rain here in a minute. So there he is, he's all stuck down. And I do think if I have a pocket watch, let's see what we have. Oh, I do, right there. let's give Mr. Bunny a pocket watch. Okay. It can't be simpler than that. But the detail in these molds are always blow me away. That they really did an amazing job. Okay. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So we're gonna get some glue on that. This probably is not the best glue I'm using, but it's what I could find. We have the grandkids over the weekend. So it's been a little, let me make sure my 12 o'clock is right. Sure. Oops, nope. There we go. Oh, that's adorable. And just gently press, because you don't want to press the beautiful detail out of your molds. Look at that. So pretty. Let's see, maybe, what do we have here that we can put in there? You know what? Maybe we could put maybe we could put a little bee on the other side. That would be lovely to have just enough clay for that before I open another package. Let's use, where's my cute little bee? Do I have a bee in this one? I thought I did. Nope, it's in this one. We could do a bee on the other side, and I think I have enough. Let's see. We do. Perfect. Just like it was made for it. I can hear my hens up there calling me. They can see me. And so they're trying to contact the mothership for food. The little pigs. You hear them? I love those birds. I've gotten the biggest kick out of them. And they're so loving. I tell you, our grandchildren can pick them up and they're very gentle with them, and I think that's probably why. And maybe because we raised them in the house. Okay, so the bumblebee is super cute. And you can go on and keep adding detail after detail. The more, to me, I'm not a minimalist, as you know. So the more the better, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm just gonna go and kind of just make sure this is all kind of down on the edges. Oh, here comes the storm. Oof. The temperature just dropped dramatically. I think I'm gonna stick this into time lapse, and then I'm gonna paint it. You can see me paint it, and then we're gonna come back and it'll be ready to distress. Is dry enough, and we're gonna actually add, I love this stuff, it's called Rub and Buff. It's basically a patina, metallic patina that you can rub on, and I always, as you can see, don't wear gloves, and this never ends well for me. But we are going to actually, I'm gonna show you what I hope you can see with the lighting. I know the lighting has not been good. Here's the bee side, and there's the bunny with his pocket watch, because he's gotta deliver those eggs in time for Easter. So how I'm gonna display this, I'm gonna show you. I simply got, this was $7.99 and it was 50% off at Hobby Lobby. This was last fall, and I'm sure they still have them. But what I liked about it is, do you see it has a lip that is perfect for this to set inside. Now you could E6000 this or hot glue it, it would be wonderful. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little moss to the bottom, and I'm just gonna perch them in there, and I think it'll be fine, because I may wanna use the candlestick for something else, and I think too it would be easier to store this. So I'm gonna set this aside for the minute. Actually, I'm gonna use this to set. And this would be beautiful just like this. I think this is lovely just the way it is. But you know me, I'm a little bougie, so I'm gonna add a little bit of this copper patina. And you can see it's a little bit dark itself. And what I'm gonna do is just barely hit the highlights. Very barely. Oh, it's pretty, pretty, pretty. So I'm just barely gonna touch the tips. You may hear my dogs here in a minute. I think the UPS guy's coming up the driveway, and I apologize. So I'm just gonna hit just the surface. I just wanna give it, and I do wanna warn you, when you're putting it on, you're just like, ooh, it doesn't look the best. But you need to let it set up a little bit, and then that's why they call it rub and buff. So you're just gonna rub that in.